There you are. Hello, fellow traders. For the first time, I'm starting a live show with one viewer. It was zero for a while there, but I normally start at 2:30, so it's good. We'll get on the go, and we'll get moving, and we'll get started. So yeah, well, let's see how we go. 2 viewers. We're starting to take off here. We're starting to move. Video's going viral. 2 people are here now. Yeah, no, it's a difficult week. I know that. Lots of things going on. Old Trumpy causing the markets to go up and down. How's everyone today? Hope you're all good. Tell me all about your trading. How about everything that's been going on and what the markets have been doing? Don't forget, most traders lose money. And if you're unsure, you probably shouldn't even be trading, and don't constitute anything I say as financial advice, because it's not. Let's go and have a look at what's going on in the markets. And yeah, I took a trade on the JAP 225 because that looked like something that I wanted to do, and I called it as trade of the day this morning as well. But I don't have many trades on the go at the moment. Yesterday, I got taken out in the US dollar, Canadian dollar, and we've been taken out in the New Zealand dollar, US dollar before that, and now that came back. That would have made a profit. The whiplash effects have been insane the last couple of days. So I'm just, yeah, the history doesn't look too hot. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses in a row there. Not great. That was a bad week. It kept whiplashing us out, and even if I tried to put the stop loss further out, it really wasn't helping matters. Hi Tim, hi Grizzo, good to see you guys again. So it's been a kind of a tricky week, but what I'm going to do today is, just for interest's sake, let me see if that is going to do something here that might work, might not work. We're going to go and have a look at the news, and then we're just going to go over to a slightly different scenario here. Let's just go and have a look here and see. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there's the news. Let's go and check out the news quickly. And Trump has finally made an appearance. The tariff pause that was once fake news is now real. US stock futures slide after the tariff pause. And I've been saying, I don't get it. But I've seen this over and over again, and it always settles. That reaction to this whole scenario where Trump said, I'm going to put tariffs on, and he did. Now he's pulled back and he's relaxed it all for 90 days. And suddenly everyone puts their money back in the market. Like, all he's done is kick the can down the road for 90 days. In 90 days' time, it's all going to be back to where it was yesterday. So I don't know, what's he going to say today? What's he going to say tomorrow? There's a lot of things going on at the moment that are just not really making good sense. But the investments are doing great. So if you guys have any shares that you want to talk about, we can talk about them here. It's interesting sometimes. Coca-Cola, great. Amazon, doing great. Tesla, coming back. I was going to add to Tesla. And then it was actually my son that said to me, well, hang on a bit there because it's not looking great. And so I didn't. I should have, because that's quite a nice green bar as well. Should have added to that as well. Nvidia's coming back. So they're all doing pretty well, and there's a lot of others as well. S&P 500 is doing that whole recovery thing. It's amazing how this thing's recovering, coming back. What a big bounce. And that big bounce was all the news yesterday. And it's all about these tariffs. Normally the market's correct because of the money flows in the market and all the rest of it. But sometimes these big events take effect. But really, I haven't seen anything in the markets that would say to me, ooh, that this is going to crash, or it's going to drop dead, or whatever the case. Everything seems to be perfectly normal. But what I was looking at on this 54 is that was a level. I'll have to take us back to the other charts for that, which I will. Okay. This tells me there's a bit of buffering going on. Major US news in 2 minutes, inflation rate. I used to hang my hat on the news way back when. Inflation rates, CPI, jobs figures used to drive me crazy. That's why I've got grey hair. I'm actually 21 years old and I got grey hair. Just kidding. No, but seriously, guys, I hung my hat on the news for so long, and it would move the markets up and down, sideways, left, right, and everybody would wait for that news moment, and everything just settles back to where it was. So I stopped worrying about those types of news events. Important news events at the moment would be these tariffs and obviously any trade wars and things going on, any real wars going on, that sort of thing would cause problems. But as far as the actual, let's say, weekly news that happens all the time goes, it doesn't concern me too much. It's even if it moves the markets up or down, it's just going to move them slightly. People are more concentrated on what's happening with these tariff things at the moment. I hope the video is okay, because YouTube's warning me that there's a lot of buffering at the moment, and I'm kind of hoping that it's not too bad. We'll see how that goes. And obviously, we're also still waiting for everyone to actually get here. And that's quite interesting as well. So yeah, it's been an interesting week. Been knocked out of a couple of trades. That's a little bit insane, but that's how life goes. Let's put it back on our normal daily trading thingy that we use here. The funded trader markets. Let's go back to that for a while. And we'll play around here, because I got all my levels on here, let's be honest. And then I've got my other charts as well, which are not on here. Yeah, okay. We'll just use these. This is fine. So at least the JAP 225 is going in the right direction. That's good news. Right, what can you guys tell me about your week? So Brent crude oil, Brent, is it going to go up? There's a big resistance level here. So that resistance is holding us up. And as you know, we trade three ways. We trade with the trend, we trade in the range, and we trade on breakout of the trend. So be aware that that's the way we trade. And if you will watch the videos, you'll see in many cases I show you exactly how that works. Hey, coffee with Rob, so let's have some coffee. Trading can be boring, guys. This much I think I've told you before. You trade by yourself, and it can be very, very boring. But, you know, making money is actually a boring thing to do. So, you know, you've got to get your head around that. I see the US 500 has dropped down a bit. Now, you remember at the beginning of the week, I did say to you guys, my big concern is that the S&P 500 would run up into this area, retest it, and maybe start dropping down again. And the way the politics are going at the moment, and the trade wars and the talks in the market and what have you, I know Kevin's not here today, but he said to me earlier that he's just staying out of the market this week because it's just too much up and down, jumping around. Everybody, you know, it's 1 minute it's up and the next minute it's down because everybody's changing their mind. Now, the volatility is good, but the whiplash is not good. But what I am seeing here is, if I was to trade what I see, but I would be kind of nervous to trade this, is this has shot up, retested this level now, and now it's starting to kind of fall back down. And that leaves a lot of concern in the markets. And I would say that there's a good possibility that it could fall all the way back down to here, because there is a big level of money lying in that area. Again, there's a level of money lying there. So there's always the possibility that this could fall all the way back down to the 5,000 again to pick up some more money. Let's see how this plays out. Let's not jump any guns. Let's not get too excited. If you want to take a short trade on that, you can take a punt. But long term, I wouldn't be able to tell you if that's a good or a bad idea. Like I say, I don't have any predictive capability. I can only trade what I see. And what I'm seeing here is this is looking like it's hit that level. It was a support, broke through, the big crash, the big story, the big terror story. Hey, here we go. And of course now this little run up, back up here. You see it broke through the trend resistance, went up, and as I said at the beginning of the week, it's retesting here. Now the difficulty is, will it go through? Will it come down? Looks like it wants to come down again. So yeah, and Tim just said there's some news. I'm glad the video is good out there. So that means the video is working, and the big yellow barrier that YouTube gave me is, I don't know, insane. Maybe that's working just perfectly well. All right, so as far as the US 500 goes, we can't go long on that at the moment. Shane said he was going short on the DAX. So I believe he probably has gone short on the DAX. And we, of course, went short on the JAP 225, the Nikkei. We've taken that short for the group. And yeah, it's been interesting. But yeah, I'm looking at this as also sort of, it could possibly, the DAX will get down to that level as well. So when Shane is watching, he can just have a look. This one's also got a demand of money lying there, so you're probably going to trade it down to there. Where's the JAP 225 sitting? Similar story. I've drawn that in as well, and I've actually got my take profit just above that level where it's going to come back to take the money. So I'm actually looking at all the indexes coming back to take this liquidity and then going back up again. This could be the point. It could be just the point we're looking for, which will be great. No complaints there. Let's just have a look and see. Not everybody's going to be here today. A lot of traders are running for cover. With the markets that have gone the way they have, the traders have got caught up in the moment. They've got caught up in the news, and a lot of people have lost quite a decent sum of money because this whiplashing around, it's not the first time I've seen it. It whiplashes everyone around, and if you don't have risk management, it hurts a lot. And obviously there's a lot of guys out there that are actually scalping that don't have risk management, and they actually will get hurt quite badly, because on the 5-minute charts, this is quite insane. And unfortunately, trading is 50-50. No matter what anyone tells you or what anyone says, it will always be 50-50, because there's human beings in the market, and human beings are trading with and against each other. It's not about systems, it's about strategy. And these systems, yeah, they've all been tested, they all work. But if every system works, where do you think the market's going to end up? If everybody's right, where do you think the market's going to end up? And it's a funny thing how people actually believe that although 70% of traders lose money on leverage trading, every trader believes that they're going to be part of the 30%, even if they started yesterday or last week or an hour ago. They all believe they're going to be part of the 30%. And those that trade the 5-minute charts, 99% lose on 5-minute charts. Funny, everyone believes they're going to be part of the 1%. And I've seen pros in big companies that don't get into that 30%, don't get into that 1%. So yeah, guys, trading's risky, and it's not an easy thing to get around, because you have to get around it with psychology. You don't get around it with systems. You don't get around it with mechanical things or maths or algorithms. That's not how it works. You might have success for a short while based on that, and then it'll start failing, and then you'll go look for new systems. And a lot of guys have argued with me on that point, but then I'm like, then why are you watching my YouTube video? Because you're looking for information, you're looking for that next best thing, you're looking for something better. And if you're looking for something better, it means that thing that you're using is probably not working out 100%. And that's because it's a system. And these systems, they move and they're alive, they change with time. Some you win and some you lose. And it's very difficult to get your mind around that the market's 50-50, and that you in all likelihood, you're probably going to lose more than you win. So you have to get your mind around a strategy where you kind of make more on your wins than you lose on your losers, so that you can somehow win in the markets. Because taking these trades it's really is, no matter what your system or how good your system is, the market doesn't care about your line. The market doesn't care about your candle. The market doesn't care about any of that. All the market cares about is who's buying and who's selling and what's happening in the market. And as Tim says, there's some news in America at the moment, and it's going to affect the markets one way or another. And when these things happen, people buy and sell. Human beings, they buy and sell. And they don't care about what the lines say. So your job in the market is simply to look for liquidity. All you're looking for is some liquidity in the market. In other words, a demand area, a supply area, a resistance, a support, a trend line, a trend break, a range that a price is trading in. Maybe you just want to follow direction. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the money. Where have all the other human beings put their orders? And then what you're doing is you're looking for that so that you can find where all that money is, where that price is going to turn around, kind of go the other way, so that you can benefit from the whole deal. Now, what moves the market, what money moves the market, is the big money. So if you're looking for anything, you're looking for the big money. You're looking for the money that's seriously moving the markets around, and what those guys are doing and what those guys are deciding. Now, you get times like these where Trump's tariffs are causing havoc. His decisions are causing havoc. It's an insane decision that he's made, but it works for America, I suppose. But the world is kind of in turmoil with it, and it begs understanding as to why seasoned professional big money traders are all quickly reacting to it, and they all pull their money out, and then they all put their money back because he's holding it off for a couple of months. Crazy when you think about it, because in a couple of months, we all know if he goes back to it, it's just going to go back to where it was yesterday. It's going to go back to the beginning again. Yeah, what my plan for this session was, because it's quite a peaceful time at the moment and everything's kind of happened, was if the guys have got any questions, and if the guys have got any questions on actual shares and investments and that sort of thing, we can have a look at that as well. And basically, I was going to maybe go over the 3 ways that we trade, specifically for 1 or 2 guys. But no, nothing out of the ordinary. If you need to go anywhere, you're not going to miss a hell of a lot today. Today is not a big surprise day or anything like that. No. If you need to do something, no problem. It's not gonna work the bank anyway. But you can always come back and have a relook. I leave the live shows on. I don't take the live shows down. I also don't change them over to the normal stuff. I just leave the live shows there. So if you go onto the channel and you go onto the live button and you go look, you'll see all the live shows are there, all the episodes. You can go back on any of them and go and have a look at what we talked about and how it went and what have you. If you guys have got any trades that you're looking at today, we can look at that as well, because we are looking at getting some trades in, obviously. Okay. Hi, Greg. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. So yeah, and Grizzo, yeah, I was today, as I say, I was just looking at these indexes, and I took the short on the Nikkei, and obviously it was either the Nikkei or US 500 or DAX. DAX would have been a good one as well, but the DAX was a bit more iffy. The Nikkei looked a lot better. It looked like a much better trade, at the end of the day to take. US dollar, Canadian dollar bit us. We got stopped out on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. And the Euro US dollar went long as expected, as we said it would. But now what we've got to do here is look at this. This could be a double top coming in here. And what we're looking at, is there a possible turnaround again and another short? Or should we just wait for the next long trade coming down and bouncing off of that? Euro US dollar, we did call it long. Was it this week? Yeah, I think so. I think we called it long this week. How's it, Elaine? Okay, Tim just went short on the Great British Pound Japanese Yen. Let's go and have a look quickly. Tim, I just got to find where I put it because I've got so much stuff on here. There we go. Great British Pound Japanese Yen short. Tim, can you explain why? So that I don't have to go over the whole thing, or should I go from scratch? Okay, I kind of get an idea here. Let me just do this. Let's have a look. This might be a interesting short trade. What system do you use, Tim? Are you using the support and resistance, the trends, the Fibbo? I don't know. Let me know on that. Okay, it makes sense, the short, because look at that. If the trend resistance is there, it's in this level that it's retesting, so that's a good break and retest. Well, no, go break and retest, yes. That's broken down, gone down to whatever level, come back up, retested this, what was a support and is now a resistance, and there is even confluence with this nice little trend resistance in here that's breaking to the downside. Looks good. Looks like a decent short trade. Great British Pound JPY. Not bad at all. There was a big move to the upside yesterday, probably with all the movement in the market. Looks decent. Perhaps we should add it. It looks like a reasonable trade. I wouldn't say it's a bad trade. So it's worth a while. I don't know what the target would most likely be, your 184 with a stop loss at 190, eh? Yeah, well, let's add this trade into our system. So guys, this is how you take the trades. For those of you who don't know, stop loss, you put your stop loss in. So stop loss is going to be at 190. We're gonna make a sell. It's gonna get upset with me now because I haven't said sell, right? So we're gonna put it in at 190. Let's just make it 190.0, eh? And then, oh yeah, 0.15 lots actually gives us a $224 stop loss. So that's good enough. We want a $250 stop loss because it's 1%, right? Take profits. Yeah, you know what, Tim? I'm going to put the take profit at 184. Tell me if you think I'm right or if I'm wrong, if I'm going too far out. But yeah, the stop loss is pretty close at 190. But I mean, if it gets there, pretty much gone. It's a good risk to reward, $394 profit. So you know what? I'm just going to place the order and put it in. So Great British Pound JPY, that's Tim's trade on the system. Hopefully we've got enough money left in this funded account to keep these trades going. We've taken a few knocks this week, man. But Tim, that's yours. Okay, I'm putting that in so we can follow it and see how it goes. And we'll see how your trade goes. That's great. That's everybody gets to have a trade on here at some stage, and might as well be this one. So if it makes money, great. We've had quite a few knocks. Is Shane here yet? Because gotta love Shane. He says, do the opposite to what I do. And this morning he called DAX short, but his trade's going well. The DAX is going short. So it's doing quite well. Gotta say, not bad. That looks pretty fair to me. Yeah, not all market corrections are equal, eh? They do different things. What you got to do is remove the greed and FOMO in your trades. Now, don't get the greed and FOMO take over. Just keep on ticking over. Just keep on trading. Tim, I put it at 184, did I? Which one was it? Great British Pound JPY. 183.999. I tried to get 184. I guess I missed a digit, but that's close enough, eh? I put it at 184. Basing it on the fact that it is pretty close to this area. I think when it gets down here, even before that, I mean, you could actually place it at 185 if you wanted to. Still a good one. But just in case it spikes down, that's great. Put the stop loss at 190 up there. Beyond that resistance. It's sitting with a trailing stop. But that's okay. If it carries on going down, we'll let the trailing stop nail it. That's great. we'll run it on that. Hey, gosh, you guys hear some noise in the background, please excuse that. That is one of the deliveries coming in. I ordered some gas for the house, and they're bringing it in and sticking it in, so we're going to have to put up with that for a while. You can hear them moving things around. Yeah, I must actually show the 3 ways that we trade. I did say I was going to do that. But you know, guys, we trade the 3 ways in the market. And for those guys who don't know that, it's very important to understand that there is only 3 ways to actually trade. The one way is with the trend. The other way is in the range. And the other one is a breakout, where it breaks through the resistance or support levels. That's as simple as it gets. It's not too complicated. And we take our levels from the day charts normally, but you can also take them from the time frame that you're trading on. For example, we're trading on the H4 here. We just take our levels from that level there. It's amazing how you could have a live show and then everything will happen. There was even a helicopter flying over a moment ago. But luckily I've got, you know, pretty decent sound here, so it's okay. It's not going to affect the video too much. Should be fine. Right, let's just have a look and just see. Somebody asked me, how do you choose the right resistance area? Because I think what happens is you end up with charts with millions and millions of lines on. I've seen these charts where there's a resistance. So there's like 24 lines on a chart. Very confusing, extremely confusing. Don't do that to yourself. Try to stay away from drawing too many lines on the chart. Take the most relevant resistance and draw it in. Take the most relevant support and draw it in. The one that's closest to the area that you're going to need to trade, just like this, for example, and work with those. You know, this will be your highest, that'll be the area that you're expecting the price will, in all likelihood, get to. This will be the area that, in all likelihood, you expect it to break to the upside or to the downside. There is no point in drawing all the resistances in along here. You can clearly see where the money is along the way. If you're in that trend, you can clearly see there's a level here, there's a level here, there's a level here that you can use. Which one do you choose? The closest one. The one that you're working within. That's the one you choose. But don't confuse yourself by putting too many indicators or too many lines on the chart or too many different resistance and support levels on the chart. I mean, that was actually quite an interesting question. You know, the question was, how do you choose the right resistance area? And I thought, well, yeah, how do you choose the right resistance area? Clearly, you choose the one that's most obvious, the one that's closest to you. What you've got to understand is the markets are not objective, they're subjective. Everything about the market is subjective. You're looking for liquidity, you're looking for an area where something's happened before, and in all likelihood, it's probably going to happen again, because human beings are creatures of habit. So you look back and you see it all happened here before, so in all likelihood, it's probably going to happen again. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that repeat. You're looking for it to happen again. And when it happens again, you know that you can take that trade effectively. That's the whole point, is you're looking for that repeat trade, that trade that's happened before. It's not objective. It's very subjective. So, you know, when you ask which is the right resistance area, I can't tell you to look exactly there. You're going to have to get used to this. Yeah, this is actually something that a lot of people that have started out trading, you know, when you start trading and you start learning, and there's no specific set of indication rules that you take this and it's going to go up, you take that and it's going to go down. You're going to have to start getting a feel for it. You're going to have to start getting a gut feel with the rules and regulations. You're going to have to start seeing things for what they are. And does that look like something that might happen? Does that look like something that might work or not? You know, it's not a question of, oh, that's definitely going to happen because there's a line there. Like I said to you, the market doesn't care about your line. All that line is there for is so that you can determine a high probability of which way you think the market's going to go, because it happened the other day. You know, it happened before, so it might happen again. That's all it is. You know, as I've said before, you don't make the money from these win rates, and you don't make the money from these squiggly lines. You make the money from having a strategy and a business plan. That's where the money comes from at the end of the day. I'm just going to quickly go over and have a wee look at our just going to quickly go and have a look at our company trades as such. There we go. Let's go over here, and I just want to have a look at a few things. I see the S&P is still holding quite strong there, but I suppose it's less to open. Oh, Grizzo also took the sell. I'll see you next week, Grizzo. Have a good one. A couple of the guys are busy today, I see, and can't be here. And that's great. That's no worries. That's how it goes. So, Coca-Cola looks like it wants to do its thing and go back. That doesn't look too bad, gotta say. Somebody asked me about Tesla the other day. And what I'm seeing with Tesla is there's a lot of money waiting up here at 355, so it's probably going to get back there. But it first has to get above this level at 292 before it'll get up to that 355 level. So it has to get above this high and keep on going before it will go anywhere. There is a double bottom in place. There is a big support at the bottom here, but there has been this big move in the middle, this big bubble here of really important money. Will it get back to those highs? It should. It should, but I can't tell you when. Can't tell you when that's going to happen. But, you know, as I've always said, if you're invested in shares and you're invested in companies, don't sweat it. You know, you do this, you invest in these companies for 30 years. You don't invest in these companies for a week. This is one-to-one money. This is not leverage trading that you're talking about here. So what you're looking at, and this is a day chart, by the way, guys. So what you're looking at here is an overall picture of how long that's going to take. I don't know if you guys are invested in shares, but you really should be. You really should be. I made the mistake when I started trading of not listening to my elders. And it took me years to get the aha moment of, oh, you know what? I actually need to start investing. I just traded and traded and traded and traded. And I was fortunate enough to do quite well in my trading. But had I started investing right from the beginning, I wouldn't have known what to do with the money right now. It would have been insane amounts of money. So I didn't listen to the pros. I didn't listen to the elders. And it took me many years to get the aha moment. I can't tell you exactly when, but quite a number of years ago that I did realize that I got to start investing, which I did. And then every month, add to those investments, just keep on pushing. You know, every month I relook the portfolio, I have a look at how the portfolio is doing, and I pick one or two shares that I want to add to, and then I just add to them. Like whatever profits I've got, and put it in there, add to it on a regular basis, and it just keeps on growing, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and you get paid dividends through the year from a lot of those shares. Some of them are growth shares, a lot of them are dividend paying shares already. You just get paid, and once you own them forever, it's kind of almost doesn't matter anymore. You know, I don't even look at indicators or anything. It doesn't really bother me. I'm just sort of looking at the share and thinking, should I add to it or not? And particularly Tesla, like I said earlier, I was thinking, should I add to Tesla? And it was actually my son who said to me, yeah, but isn't this like Elon Musk? Isn't he going to walk away there? And that could cause a big problem. So you got to think about that. Because the way I trade in shares is not with charts so much as how good is the company doing it? Does it look like they're going to do well? Is there going to be something worthwhile, at the end of the day? Is this a company that's going to do really well? Is Elon Musk going to stay in charge? What's going to happen? You're going to worry about things like that. And for example, NVIDIA, the other one, I mean, it dropped all the way from up here to down here. And that doesn't matter because my cost is way below that on my side. But some of you guys might have got in at these highs, and that can be quite painful. And I look at it and think, well, that this whole China thing and this whole tariff thing, because although the tariffs have been put on hold for 90 days, there's still a China-America war going on here with the tariffs. I mean, yesterday, China said, oh, no, so we're going to give America 84% tariffs now. And now Trump's talking about giving China 400% tariffs and so on. And that can get out of hand as well, especially with something like the AI. That can start becoming a little bit of a pain. So, yeah, just saying, just keep your eyes on things like that. Amazon has been really good to me, I must say. That's actually been a really good trade. That said Coca-Cola as well, not bad. Oh, I didn't put McDonald's on here. I can always do that as well. Okay. But yeah, let's go back to the normal charts then. Want to go and have a look at what we got. What's Japan doing on here? And that just needs to keep on going down rather than going up. Get it to go down. The other person asked me, how many trades do you have open at any one time? Now, that's a really good question. How many trades do you have open at any one time? And I've said it over and over again. I don't count my trades. I don't count how many trades I've got open at any one time. If there's one trade available, then we'll have one trade. If there's 20 trades available, then we'll have 20 trades, if we can afford them, of course. Depending on which account, and depending on how much I want to risk on that account. Because you've got to bear in mind with my strategy, if I take 10 trades, I'm risking 10% of the account. And I've got to make sure that those 10 trades don't overlap each other. In other words, they're not all US dollar, Euro US dollar, Great British Pound US dollar, Canadian dollar US dollar, and they're all on the same sort of trajectory. So I've got to make sure that the trades kind of are not overlapping each other. It's not basically the same trade. Because then you might as well be risking 10% on one trade. Doesn't work. I've got to make sure you've got a sort of mix and mash in there. But how many trades will I take at any one time? As many as is necessary. But I think the real question behind it was also, should I wait for one trade to finish before I take the next trade? And no, that's completely not necessary. You don't have to do that. But where you do have to stay alert is if you have a funded account like these funded accounts, your gateway to trading capital, funded trader markets, right? I've got a link for this in the description if anybody wants one. But these accounts have max overall drawdowns. And a max overall drawdown of 6%, a max daily drawdown of 4%. So that limits you to the amount of trades that you can take in a day. You can't take 10 trades because you'll lose 10% if you lose them all. So you've got to limit it down to maybe 4 trades. So if you're running a funded account, have a look at this daily drawdown scenario, because that's going to affect the amount of trades that you can take. Now, the guys that get into funded trading, like I've said before, are normally a situation of they can't afford to have a real cash account or a big cash account. That's a great way for you to get involved and to try and make some profit. The reason I took a funded account is so that you guys can trade with me, and I'm not risking the real money on that. But yeah, it's great for that sort of thing and for those guys who want to do that kind of stuff. Shane, I saw that you figured out Discord today, and I'm glad to have you there, but you'll see I don't do a lot there because I'm so worried about these scammers. I tell you what, They drive me insane. They copy my badge, they copy my name, and they try and sell people to stuff on the Discord and try and tell them that they're me. I will never try and sell you guys anything on Discord, just so that you know, if you are on Discord, don't, if somebody says they're me and they're trying to sell you something, they're not me. They're lying to you. And then I've had one or two other guys. I mean, I got two basic, well, maybe three, but two major basic rules on Discord for the guys, and that is don't post links to products and don't try and sell anybody anything. And the other one is respect each other. But at the end of the day, you get these guys that are trying to sell everybody something all the time, and I had one guy now that was very persistent, and I did ask him extremely nicely to please stop begging, and then he said I'm being rude. So, guys, Discord's not there for that. Discord's there so that we can communicate with each other, put some charts up, have a bit of fun, discuss a trade. That's what it's there for. And then we have to put up with these guys that are desperately trying to make money. And I get it. I get it that some people are desperate and they need to make some cash. Maybe they're hungry, whatever the case. I don't know. But really, like I said to the one, look, dude, if the system you're trying to sell me works so well, then why aren't you using it? And it's you tell it like I've been doing this for 30 years. I don't need anything. And you've been doing this for 1 year, 2 years, and you want to tell me you're going to sell me something. No, I don't know. And then they persist. So yeah, if anybody tries to sell you anything on Discord, just mute them, send them on their way, and try to ignore it. Try to ignore it and try to just tell them go away. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to benefit you in any way whatsoever. 9 times out of 10. It's just going to be another load of old rubbish. At the end of the day, there's only one way to trade. And that is have your own strategy, maybe the one that we talk about together here, and understand that there's human beings in the market and just trade the normal way. Don't try and cut corners. Don't try and beat the market, because you ain't going to do it. Not going to happen. Never going to happen. Unfortunately. Oh, I see what's going on here with this one. This is, of course, this one's like stuck. Is there another S&P 500 on this page? This is not my trading page, guys. I'm just using this chart thing. S&P. Okay, so is that all we've got? I mean, seriously? Okay, let me go here. It's SPX. That's all we've got. That's okay. I'll just go back to my other. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Let's just go back to the other charts and we can see the stuff there. It always works there. It's fine. Just go back to our main charting. We can see what's going on, eh? Right. Let's go back in here. Okay. Right. I just want to see what's happening with the US 500. Yeah, it is kind of filtering down, but trying to get back up. Okay. See what's going on here. Shane, you beat me to it. I was actually considering the DAX, and I put the JAP 225 in with kind of a similar trade. So no, and were you here, Shane? We took the Great British Pound JPY short, as well. But that's this one. Okay. I don't know if you want to check it with your fib, but yeah, I love the DAX. I loved the DAX so much all the years. It's such a great product to trade. Lovely product to trade. And just recently, I haven't been trading it, but I've always enjoyed trading the DAX. You'll enjoy it. That's a good product to trade. US 500, the DAX, Brent, there's quite a number of them, excluding Forex, of course. I mean, there's a lot of Forex trades in there that are nice to trade as well. But yeah, I've always enjoyed it. I made so much money out of the DAX. I've been so lucky with the DAX in the past, especially on the long side of the trade. It's been good to me over the years. Brent at the moment is in question. They are similar in the way they look, but it's in question with regards to with all these China against America tariffs and all this sort of stuff. There's a bit of a worry. But I gotta say that Brent in general normally trades between this level and 105. So this like I always say to you guys, we don't want to call a supermarket mentality and call something cheap. But if I was ever going to call something cheap, it would be Brent crude oil. I just got to say, I mean, this is really at its low levels. But during the times of strife in 2020, Brent went to zero. So, we do have to be careful here to say that things can't go lower. They can. But I'm just looking at things as they stand, and under normality, and if nothing changes that much, I gotta say, if I was gonna call anything cheap, it would be Brent. Brent is really at its lows at the moment. So yeah, if you're looking for a good deal and you want to take a punt, that might be one that I would definitely consider. That's for sure. Totally. How's it, David? Yep, that's a good win, Shane. You see, that's the thing, Shane. You are quite right. If you trade what you see, you would short Brent, and that's the thing. And that's kind of what holds me up, is because I've got so many years in this game. I've seen Brent, and when it gets to a price like this, I'm kind of looking at it and thinking, wow, I know this price. I know this price well. But there's been once or twice where it's gone through that, and that can be quite tricky. But I was just saying, if you look at it, let me just see if it's on. Just want to have a look at something quickly. I'm going to play around here a little bit. I just want to have a look at something on Brent. Just out of interest, I want to have a look on this other chart over here. Let's see if it's here on these guys' charts. Brent. Sorry, no results found. Perhaps if I write oil, I don't know. Oil. Tell me you guys don't have oil. Oh, that's not so good, is it? Okay. Nothing here. Commodities. There we go. Let's see what we've got under commodities. Yeah, it's here. Why didn't it come up? Brent crude oil. Let's have a look at it here. Just want to see, because I get a bigger chart here. And I just want to take it right back. So I can just show you guys. Look how far back this goes. All right, I'm not sure how many years this is now. But this has gone quite far back, and it really, I mean, this is the first time in a long time that it's hit these levels. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, if that goes back up there, it's an upside down head and shoulders heading to the upside. Now that's on the H1. I just want to put this on the day. And there's your worst case scenario down here. Has been on a really bad. March 10, 2020. I think it actually went to zero. Oil. Insane if you think about it. But this was the time of strife. Yeah, and then that was the only time that it really dropped below 65. If you look at it, let's go to the weekly. And yeah, look in the early years, of course. I mean, you can't compare 2000s. But over the last number of years, since about, let's say 2005, pretty much stayed at these levels, 55, has been about your worst. Generally averaged coming down to the 60, 65 level around here and always bounced up. And then your highs generally averaging around 125, as you can see here, as I always say. 125 is pretty much a resistance on oil over time. Over time. There's been a few spikes down to the 50, the 40, there was a 30, you know, but when was that? 2015. 2015, rough times. But generally tends to stay up. 2020, we all know what happened, okay? So that's why oil dropped off there. But other than that, it's always stayed around these levels. So that's why I call it cheap at these levels, because oil at these levels is just kind of cheap. It's 60 bucks. It's generally where it gets to, and then it says, oh, I've had enough, I'm going to go back up now. And then it normally heads up to 125. And it's because it's ruled by cartels. I mean, these guys sit and they have a wee chat in the room about how many barrels they're going to put out there. Now, the only reason it's knocking at the moment is because Trump's tariffs are having a bit of an effect on the whole 9 yards. So that could also be part of the whole thing. So, but yeah, I just thought I'd show you that so you can see why I'm saying that oil is, if I was going to call anything, I'd call oil cheap because of where it's standing at the moment. Dave, finally been able to watch your Thursday live. Good to have you on board. There's not a lot of people here today, so you're very fortunate to be with us. And we're all together. I think most people have run off into the hills because the markets have gone down the toilet. Everybody's running away and hiding because things have not been going well. Let me just have a look at this JAP 225. Is it going against us again? I suppose it's just doing a bit of a bounce and whatnot. We shall see what happens with that trade. I don't really want any more of those swing around losses today. Had enough of those. The US 500, will it hold? Or will it bounce off of here like we said it would? I think there's a good chance that this is going to do its little downward thing. So, all right. So this is Tim's trade. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. JAP 225 was, I think, my trade of the day. So, okay. No other trades in today. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're taking for the day. Remove greed and FOMO from your trading. Don't forget, guys. Don't revenge trade. You know, a lot of guys would have revenge traded quite a few trades this week, and it would have hurt them quite a bit. You know, when it swung against them, and you know, just, these revenge trades can be quite hectic and quite nasty at the best of times. Nice. Bit of a slow day today. I haven't really got a lot going on. I haven't made quite as much noise as I usually do. Or told as many jokes. Shane, your buddy Kevin's off today. He's off with his kids. He's gone up into the hills in Scotland there. Tells me that it's a heat wave there and they've got dry grass and threats of fires and all kinds of things. Short US 5. Are you short the US 500, Shane? Have you taken the short? Remember I said at the beginning of the week, this is going to go up, nail into this area and start falling back down again. But the only thing that concerns me is, you know, like I said earlier, the market really doesn't care about these lines that we draw in. That's just for us to sort of determine where things might go on high probability. But what might destroy this is whatever happens in the USA with Donald and all these, you know, chatting and whatnot. So we just need to be careful of what he's going to say. Because he keeps swinging things around. And it keeps, it does get a little bit irritating. Because we've had quite a few swing arounds. Shane's going short. Okay, Shane, so that means I must go long on the US 500 then, or what? Just saying. When Shane goes short, we go long, eh? Yeah, well, don't worry, I'm here. That's fine. That's you missing, Kevin. He'll be back on Tuesday. He said he would. He's off having a good time. No, he's had to look after his kids today, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice crowd that we're building here. A nice crowd, group of guys that are getting together, group of guys and girls that are getting together. I'm starting to quite enjoy it, to be quite honest with you. Going long. Shane, if you're going long, I'll have to go short then. I'll just do the opposite every time. Don't worry. Yeah, the other ones that we've followed on, yeah, they haven't worked out. But yeah, I think you're right about the short though, Shane. I actually think you're right. I think a short wouldn't be the worst trade to take here. You probably would have looked at it with your fib, eh? So let's just put the fib on and let's just see what you got. And just this is guys, don't let me confuse you. You guys know we trade with support and resistance. I just know that Shane trades with the fib. And as I always tell you guys, it's not the system that makes you the money, it's the strategy. So you can use any system that you want. You can use Bollinger Bands, moving averages, doesn't matter. It's just a system to give you a high probability trade. And yeah. So remember we were talking about it through the week, Shane, that it would come back up, go into this golden zone, and it was right here on this level, on this retest level, and it's exactly in that area. Lots of confluence. It does look like that's the area, yeah. It does look pretty good. So I can't question you on that one. Fib extension, okay. Do I have fib extensions on here? Yeah, I think it's the fib expansion, okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You got a system, and if it works for you, that's fine. No problem. Absolutely no problem. You know, you can use just an all fib, you can use a fib extension, you can use whichever one. Really no problem. You can use the moving average crossover, you can use MACD, really doesn't matter. As long as there's something that we can trade with, and it works. It's all works out the same. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. How many systems you use, they all work out the same. I'm sure I had an MACD drawn in on one of these things for someone. There it is. There it is. US 500. Well, that's not good. The MACD is saying that the S&P 500 might go long if it crosses there. But that would be normal for you then, Shane. You know. Yeah, but I don't play into these things. I put this up for someone the other day, and it's a long time since I've traded MACD. The basis of it is simple. If it is oversold and it crosses over, it's like a moving average crossover, then you go long and you take the long until it gets to overbought, and then it crosses back and you sell. But it's very lagging. It's a very, very lagging indicator. Definitely going down. But I'm sure if we put an RSI, stochastic, all that, it'd be pretty similar. Another one to look at is the stochastic. Can I find a stochastic on here? Where do I look for the indicators? I don't use indicators. Oh, gosh. Me and indicators. Terrible. Add indicator. Look at that. Okay. What indicator are we looking for? Shall we have a look at, that's the stochastic that we're looking at, right? So let me put that in. I don't think those are the levels that I normally use. I'm pretty sure I use 12. But I'll leave it at that. That's fine. Let's just see. Okay. On the stochastic, on the levels that I don't normally use, it's gone through, it's crossed up and it's pushing to the upside. Stochastic is telling you that the S&P is long. So that's interesting, guys. The stochastic's telling us it's long. The MACD is telling us pretty much it's going to go long. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. Is it going to go long? Is it going to go short? Myself and Shane's opinion is it's going to go short. You know, it's going to hit here and come down. But with everything that's gone down in the market, it might be right. It might actually go long. So, yeah. Okay. Short down to 34%. I follow as. Are you adjusting your trend line? Yeah, I suppose I should, eh? Yeah, Shane, let me do that. Let me adjust the trend line. Take that one out. Okay. Trend line. So there's only 2 points here, but yeah, that for me is a trend. And that does make for interesting reading. Because that would be, it could come back up to here and then go down. So that's the worst case scenario. Because it broke through that trend. Now there's a new trend. We've adjusted the trend line. The other trend that you could draw in is much further away, but that's just too far away. So let's keep it close. A lot of people will give me hell because you're supposed to have 3 points on a trend line. Rules are made to be broken. You see, I look at a trend as there's a sort of a trend. There's a trend. I mean, it's clear. You can see it's breaking to the downside, pretty much going down. You want a third point, it'll come along sometime or another. So don't worry about it. I just want to see where it's going. It's not a line in the sand. Like I said, lines don't make you money. It's the strategy that makes you the money. The lines are just there for guidance. You're looking for money in the markets and you're looking for an idea of what's changing. And yeah, when I move my line like that, I'm just getting a good idea of what might happen here. I understand in my mind that it's a weak line. It's not the strongest line in the world. There are far stronger trend lines. For example, the one breaking through down here. But this is just to show me if things are changing direction and giving me the idea and confidence. You don't use MACD, FIBS, RSI, and MA. O and BB. Okay. 2, if there's enough data in between. Okay. No, that's great. Somebody here uses average 2 range as well, but I found that average 2 range works better on the lower time frames than on these higher time frames. It's a little bit off. Somebody asked me about Ichimoku as well. What a system. But it's easy to use, eh? It's actually very easy to use. I just can't remember what everything's called all the time. Tenkan and blah, all this stuff. I tell you, it's so complicated. But I used it for a while, but it never really did much good by me. It was, you have to wait for years before you can actually get any trades in it. It's like insane. So, nah, Ichimoku you can keep as well. Average true range, you do use it, yeah. But on the lower time frames, I presume, Shane. I presume it doesn't work too well on these higher time frames. Have you got a lot of stuff on your charts? Because that can be quite complicated. Yeah. I leave it out. I leave a lot of it out. Yeah, always leave a lot of it out. There's different ways to use the ATR, oddly enough. You know, some guys use it as a magnet, and some guys use it as a breakout. Some guys use it as almost like a distance measurement. Some guys use it with the Bollinger Bands. ATR can be used in quite a number of different ways. The DAX will be similar to the US 500, Shane. But what I find with the DAX is it's more fun. But yeah, I do like trading the US 500. I've I've always enjoyed trading both of them, actually. But the US 500 can be quite a monster at times. So if you were short on the DAX, you should be making some money now, right? Okay, there we go. And on the US 500 as well. Go. Yeah, there she goes. Like we said she would. Alrighty. And then, okay, Great British Pound, Japanese Yen. All right, looks good. Yeah, DAX is good. Is good. So Shane, do you use the ATR more like a magnet, or what's your favorite way of trading the ATR? Guys, for you guys who don't know, I hate abbreviations as well. It's average true range. Yeah, I especially, the worst is pilots. I got friends that are pilots and things, and they're always talking abbreviations, and I'm like standing there. Would you guys mind telling me what you're talking about? It's like you're speaking French or something, Come on, Crazy, absolutely crazy. And the people speak in abbreviations. So yeah, I totally understand. I'll try to keep in mind that maybe somebody doesn't know what an abbreviation is. Okay. It's interesting how we get caught up in abbreviations quite often and terminology. I see a lot of guys go on courses. Sorry, just looking at something. I don't mean to look away. I see a lot of guys going on courses and they get taught all the terminology and all the abbreviations, and nobody actually teaches them about trading. They come back and they know all the ins and outs and information about terminology, but when you ask them to actually trade, they're like not sure which way to go, not sure when to take the trade and that sort of thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you're using it as a range. Okay, no, that's great. I noticed a lot of people use the ATR in different ways. Interesting, but there's no one way. But I mean, it's a bit like support and resistance as well. You can get really, really complicated with support and resistance. You can go to town with this, and I just try and keep it simple for everyone. Red candle, green candle, in, out. Let's keep it simple. Don't get overcomplicated. But if I take you to the Wyckoff system of trading, that's what this is based on. That's what support and resistance is really based on. It's really based on the Wyckoff system. And it's so complicated. The spring and this and that. I would drive you guys insane. The beginners particularly would not know where to start, to read the Wyckoff system. Even I look at it and think, when do I take this trade? How do I read this chart? So yeah, no, you can get really, really, really complicated with some of the systems, or you can keep it simple. Like Bollinger Bands, for example, you can keep it simple by, if the price just goes out of the band and, then you can just sort of turn it around and it's gone out of the band, so it means it's going to come back in and it'll come back through. So there's a lot of ways to trade these things, but you can really, really keep it simple if you want to. Moving average crossovers, you can just wait for it to cross over and go, oh, there's the trade. So yeah, it's interesting how a lot of traders really, really, really overcomplicate things and go crazy. Daniel, Trump made a lot of things jump yesterday. Even the Chinese did a little jump yesterday because of Trump. They told him, we're going to give you 84% tariffs now. Well, I'll give you 400% back, Bit of a trade war going on there. But I can tell you guys, it's not good for any of us at the moment. But it always blows over. It will blow over. I just worry about this kicking the can down the road, this 90-day thing. I won't do it now, but I'll do it in 3 months' time. That does concern me because this is all going to come back to haunt us again. And it's really nice to get it behind you and get it over with. And not worry about that coming back. And like I say, it surprises me how the traders are back into the markets just because of that. Because he said, oh, I'll hold off for a couple of months. So you guys can put all your money back in the markets for another 2 or 3 months and then take it all out again. Yeah. Crazy stuff, eh? Crazy stuff. But I think Trump has actually made a bit of a misjudgment. I know that he dreamed about this and he thought this up, and it's all a great idea for America to have production and manufacturing again. I sometimes wonder, and I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but can you imagine if sort of China and America are working together on this? Because China doesn't need manufacturing; they need more imports and exports, and America needs more manufacturing. And between the two of them, if they carry on like this, they might actually get this to work in their favor. So sometimes I just wonder if there isn't some other underlying thing going on here. But that said, yeah, it really is. It looks like it's kind of backfiring, and the dream was to get that sorted out, but the whole world has gone into turmoil with it and started fighting back, and people are stubborn, and the psychology of it is that the natural course of events is for a middle-class person to walk into a store. They're going to buy something. They're going to buy something that's the most reasonably priced. That's worth, that they feel the quality is okay, and it's a reasonably priced item. And if there's too much tariff on it, it's going to be too expensive, it's going to be outpriced, and people are not going to buy it. I mean, this is the whole idea as to why people smuggle cigarettes into the UK, because there's so much tax on them that people can't afford to buy them, so they smuggle Chinese cigarettes into the UK or whatever, from India or whatever, and they sell them much cheaper without the tax. It's alcohol as well and that sort of thing. It's a very similar sort of thing. So now if you start tariffing normal stuff, you end up with a similar position or problem. I was actually thinking yesterday, will companies start needing to have two factories? For example, I know that Apple had got a factory in China making boards for them and things like that. And I realized that they shut that and they moved it to India already. So did they have advanced information? Because will you now need one factory in America and another factory in India so that you can maybe export to the rest of the world from India, and the ones in America you just sell inside America? Or what are you going to do? Are you going to end up having all these different logistics for your company? But yeah, then it would create jobs in America, wouldn't it? Because you'd have the factories in America. So things that go through my mind, what's actually happening, what's going on. Yes, I know that system. He's trying to. The art of making a deal. He did that with TikTok. Personally, I think there is a third party managing all this. Yeah, Shane, I'm a bit like, what's going on here? I don't know. What do I know? And I'm not even in America, for example, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, when I look at it from the outside and I start seeing what's happening and I start seeing the way things are balancing out and playing out, it kind of looks to me like something's going a bit strange, a bit odd. Everything to make a buck and not pay taxes is, Daniel, I get that, but that said, the taxes on those items are insane. I mean, what I see around the world as well, and I really don't want to target any governments or anything to that effect, but they tax the hell out of people, but that's not where they make their profit, because as I've said to you before, I mean, the money in the system is the money in the system, so it's not really necessary to tax the hell out of people. You just make trade deals and you make your tax that way, which is what Trump's trying to do. But they take all this money, they make all this money, they tax the hell out of cigarettes, for example, or whatever the case. I don't smoke, but just saying, where does that money go? Because you don't see it going back into the system. It disappears. In our country, for example, we got 550 billion I don't even know if it was dollars or rands, but it's a lot of money either way. If you just put a word billion behind that, it's huge. And it came in for the medical thing during the disease times, and they sent the money in, and I thought, geez, you could rebuild all the hospitals with that. You know, our hospitals in South Africa are literally broke, or government hospitals, sorry, not private hospitals, but the government ones. They're broke. They don't have any money. They don't have money for an NHS system or anything like that. That money disappeared. Disappeared completely. Gone. History. Our tax system is flailing. The guys are struggling. There's no money in the country. Our military, we were actually joking about it the other day when a gyrocopter flew over, and that's our Air Force. We literally bought 26, is it Griffins we call them, Griffin aircraft, for the military, and one is flying. If there's anybody out there waiting to attack South Africa, please don't listen to what I just said. One of the aircraft is flying. It's a joke. It's an absolutely insane joke. If you look north of Cape Town, the roads they look like they're full of swimming pools. That's potholes. I mean, you can't believe it. Nothing's maintained. The railways are basically not working. So it's been kind of insane. I don't want to point fingers like I said, but where's that money gone? Where does that money go? And, you know, I always look at a politician gets into a job, whether it be in the UK, America, Europe, South Africa, whatever. I'll just use, and the guy becomes prime minister or president of the country, and he earns 2 million euros a year or 3 million euros a year. Good salary. But he's got a 200 million euro house. And he wasn't a businessman before. He didn't have all that money. Where the hell did that money come from? You know, you just ask yourself the question. The guy who's running Ukraine is a good example of that as well. Gee whiz. He's rolling in it. And his country's flat. Isn't that insane? Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. He was so rich, he didn't know what to do with the money. His country was, people were trying to buy bread with wheelbarrows full of money. I don't know, guys. It's, you know, that type of thing, it just boils my blood when I see it, and it annoys me. And they say that they're taxing the cigarettes to save your life. So then they're going to tax McDonald's burgers to save your life, or they're going to tax eating bananas to save your life because they've decided that that's unhealthy for you and you're not allowed to make your own choices. You know, I'm getting really political here, and I really shouldn't. I shouldn't be doing that, eh? We're a trading channel after all. But yeah, it does play into finance at the end of the day. If you think about it, it kind of goes together, doesn't it? You tell me. If I'm going too far off the track, just tell me. Euro US dollar long. I said long earlier on, and it should still be long. What happened between Ukraine and Russia? Yeah, Shane, I'll get back to that. You see here, I called it long earlier in the week. It's gone long. It's hit the resistance. Now we just need to see if it's going to break through or if it's going to come back down again. Just be careful of the double top. What happened between Ukraine and Russia was, in my opinion, Donald Trump called the peace talks and he told them to stop fighting. What's happened between Ukraine and Russia is Trump stopped giving them money, just like he stopped giving South Africa money. He stopped giving Zelensky money. He stopped giving them weapons. He stopped giving them money. He cut them off. So now they got no choice but to try and back off because the rest of the world doesn't have as much, because America's the big player here, the big supplier. And that's why they've gone quiet. And it's been quiet for quite a while. But, I mean, in all honesty, I look at the size of Russia. The whole world is worried about Russia, right? I mean, you'd think that if Russia went to war with a teeny little country like that, they'd wipe them out in 3 days. But they've been fighting for what now? 2 years, 3 years? I don't know. It's insane. What's going on? Why isn't Russia able to get this sorted out? So something's going wrong there as well. That also doesn't make a lot of sense. Are they trying to make a profit out of this war? What's going on here? Is there some, or are they trying to use up all their old weapons and just get them out of the system and then get new ones in, or is someone profiting from this somehow? And then suddenly Trump comes into power and he stops everything and he says, that's enough, everybody stop. And then it just kind of stops. They're still fighting, I get it, but it just boggles the mind that, the whole world is scared of Russia, right? Everyone's like, oh, if America and Russia go to war, there's like, oh, big problem here. And then you look at it and think, but wait a minute, how big is Ukraine? I mean, in comparison, and shouldn't they have sorted that out years ago? So yeah, it is quite, it boggles the mind. Like I said, I'm going off track, shouldn't be going off track. Stop me if I'm going too far. Well, no. I didn't win that argument, and with China. Yeah, the euro US dollar. Yeah, we called it earlier in the week, Shane. We called it earlier in the week. We did say that the euro US dollar would go long off of this support, which it did. It's now beautiful long, gone straight up. But what I say is there's a double top developing here. It's gone into the resistance. So you got to wait and see whether it's going to come back down or whether it's going to break and then retest and go. If it breaks, just let it retest and then go, because sometimes the break will just come back. Because there is money lying at the bottom of these three big candles, lots of money lying down here at this level again. So there's a good chance it's going to correct again, come down. So you might get a short before you get a long. But yeah, it was a great long trade from here, but you might get a short here now coming back down. That's on the euro US dollar. Ellie, I haven't seen you for a couple of days. Welcome back. Good to see you here. Can you go over how you find supply and demand? Yes, I'll give you a quick 15 minutes on that. What you do. Okay, that's the whole point of the stock market, is to make it difficult for you to find the money, which is why I try and make it easy for you guys with the support and resistance and with the trends. But if you're looking for supply and demand, you don't have to go to the day chart. You don't have to put line charts on or anything like that. What I use supply and demand for is, I know, just to keep an eye on the money and just to keep an eye on where it is. It's not the be-all and end-all for me, but it is a very good place to find money and the easiest way to find it. A demand level would be, a good example of it is here, and I'm just going to make this bigger, okay, so that you can all see it. You see you've got these big three green candles up here. Big three green candles, right? What that means is there was a big push to the upside. So what you do is you take your little rectangle and you say there's money lying there. Let me just take that out. I just want to change the color so you guys can see what's going on. Trust me to have the big yellow one. There's a little red candle before those three red candles. You take that level, and that level is where the money is. Now you'll notice that that level is in confluence with this trend support. So when that price gets down to this level, to take this money, it's right here on the trend support. So that gives you a double sort of confirmation that there is probably going to be a good long trade right here, because it's going to take this money and bounce back up again. But you've got two things telling you that the money's there. The one is there's a demand of money. The other one is there's a trend support right there telling you that the money's there. So you can look for the money there. Let me see if I can find one on the other side in the past. Usually it comes back into take. You see here, this area here would have been three big red candles down. And you would see that it came and took the money. I'm not going to draw the rectangle that big. I'm just going to draw it in here. And you can see clearly where it came out of there, the big three red candles. It came back in, took that money. That's a supply of money. Took that money and it went down. And then it went back up again and went through. The thing with supply and demand is you only get really one time. You don't. It's not like support and resistance where it can hit it like 10 times. Supply and demand, it'll go in, take it once, maybe twice, it's taken the money and it's gone. Next time it goes, it'll go through. There's no money left. It's gone. Okay. So just so that you get the idea. So if you see three big candles, so the three big red ones, that'll be a supply of money on the top. The one before it, you could draw it a lot thicker, of course. I'm just drawing that in so you can see that it came back and took that money. Okay. And then it went up and there was another load of money here. You see there, this one, there was another load of money at the bottom here. 1, 2, 3 candles. It went all the way up. It came all the way back. It took that money again, which was there. I would have drawn that one in if the support wasn't there. Took that money, went back up. Now it'll probably come back down and take this money again and go back up again. So Ellie, you have to practice it. You've got to go over it a few times so that you get a feel for it. Okay, don't just take my word for it. Just practice it. So just remember, 3 big candles. It doesn't have to be 3. It can be 4. It can be 5. Just not 2. It needs to be at least 3 strong candles. Okay, not 3 dots. 3 strong candles. 3 strong candles. The one before it. That's your area. That's where the money is because there's a push. It's pushed the markets up. That's the logic behind it. Don't see it as lines. Don't see it as charts. There's human beings behind this which have pushed that up. And the way we read what those human beings have done is by looking at that. That's how we find it. Okay. And same with the main support and resistance. That's how we find it because every time it gets there, it moves. So something must be happening there. It's kind of like if it moves every time it gets there, something must be happening. And that's why we put support and resistance in. The trends, every time it gets to that level, it changes, it stays in that direction or it breaks that direction. Something must be happening there. It's in all probability. It's a high probability trade. Remember, the system doesn't make you money. This just gives you probabilities to make the money. I like supply and demand. Supply and demand is a really nice way to make money in the markets because you can find money well with supply and demand. And it's easy to look for. Okay, it has 3 big candles. Can it be 2 big candles? No, it cannot be 2 big candles. 3 big candles. 2 big candles, not enough. You can use your discretion as well. If it's 2 insanely huge candles, you might say, it pushed the money up. Yeah, okay, I get that. But generally, my rule is 3. Okay. Okay, I'm going to look at Tesla for you, Ellie. Is it forming an ascending triangle? No. It's forming a double top. There is a run here. And I understand what you're saying, but if it was an ascending triangle, then it's broken out of the ascending triangle and it's moving to the upside, which would be strong, but then it's hit resistance and it looks like it's forming a double top. So, like that's why I say so many different systems in the market can make you confuse you or work against you. Because what I would say with a triangle is it's broken out of the triangle already and then it's going up, but that's not because it's hitting the resistance and there's a double top in there and there's this where it could come back and take that money. So there's a lot of things that could be working against it. All right, let me go and have a look for Ellie quickly before we close the show today. I'm gonna have a look here. I'm just gonna have a look for you at Tesla because I did put this on here just in case you want to see it. And we have Tesla over here. According to this, Tesla's at 257,610, which means it's gone back up. I don't trade shares on 1 hour charts. I trade them on day charts. Now, I was going to add to the Tesla, but like I told everybody earlier, I was kind of told by my son to be careful because the CEO, blah, blah, blah. But this is on a support on the daily. It does look like a long trade. It looks good. If you do take it to the H1, what you can do is, I don't normally do this with shares, but you can most likely, let's see if I can get a drawing here. Not really. Where's the drawings on this thing? Sorry. There we go. If I was going to be looking at Tesla, oops, I did it again. It's just, this is not the best charting package, this. Okay, there we go. All right, so what I would be looking at here is Tesla might come back, take some money here at 232, the price you talked about. I prefer 4 hours, but okay, if you are looking for it on the 1 hour, that's fine. This is the 1 hour that you asked for. The 1 hour, there is a level here at 232. You are quite correct. It could come back and take that. But with shares, what I do with shares is I kind of just buy them. But if it was going to come back, and it is going to come back, then it's going to come back to this 232 level. You're quite right. And take the money there and then go up. You've got it right, Ellie. That is the level. Okay, so that's your level. If we take that to the H4, I just want to see what it looks like. You see on the H4, you don't have a supply and demand level, but what you do have is a support level. Okay, I'm just going to draw that in so that you get an idea. Not very good at this, am I? There we go. There's a support level on the 4 hour, which is in confluence with your 1 hour's demand level. Okay, so you're in the right place, 232. And I'm pretty sure if I take this to the day, let's go to the day level. On the day level, there's your support. So there's a support level there as well. So on the 4 hour on the day, you've got support, and on the 1 hour, you've got a demand level. So all three are telling you that's your level, 232. That's your low. And it should, in all likelihood and in all probability, bounce off of that level and continue on to the upside. What I would do with Tesla is just, well, it's not a trade for me. I would just buy it because that's what I do with car companies. I just buy. Not car, with any company. Sorry, with companies I just buy. Yeah, Coca-Cola, Amazon, whichever. I don't even look at the charts. I just buy. Okay, so Ellie, yeah, you're right. That's where you are. That's exactly where you are with this. So guys, I think we're going to end the day here and head on into the night and do the next thing. How many times does a support hold before breaking? Great question, Ellie. I love your question. And the way it works, support and resistance, before I go, I'll just tell you guys how it works is a support can hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can hit as many times as you want. But the more times that it hits, the more chance it's got of breaking. But the less times that it hits, the less strong the support. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Because if it's only hit 2 or 3 times, you're sort of looking at it and thinking, is that a good support? Because it might just still break through that. So what I would normally do is say, if it's hit it at least 3 times, it looks okay. If it's hit it 10 times, I'm kind of concerned that it's going to start running out of steam and break through because the money is used up. Like I say, you're caught between a rock and a hard place. Because the more times it's hit it, the stronger the support. But also the more times it's hit it, the more chance it's got of breaking through. The less times it's hit it, the weaker the support. But by the same token, it can break through at any time. But, you know, the market doesn't care about your lines, doesn't care about your support and resistance, doesn't care about your trend lines. It's human beings buying and selling. Your job in the market is to look for the liquidity, look for the money, look for the support, look for the resistance, look for the areas where in all high probability it's going to go in that direction. So if you have a support that's hit 8 times and you take the next one and you take the next trade and you say it's going to bounce up from here, I got a green candle, and it doesn't work out and it breaks through and it goes the other way, that's why you have a strategy. That's why you have risk management. That's why you put it in place and you have a plan. Because when it goes against you, which it will, when it goes against you, then you've covered yourself with that protection, and you know that you've got it wrong because on the 9th time it broke through the support and you lost the trade. Okay, and just accept it. Just accept that you're not going to win every single one, but you're going to try, and that's the point. Okay, the market is 50-50. I do not care what anyone tells you or what anyone says. The market is 50-50. Whenever you take a trade, you've got a 50% chance of winning. That's it. End of story. Okay. What you're looking for is that high probability that you'll get a good trade. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, Ellie. Like and subscribe, please. Yeah. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I need the help with this channel. Just kidding. It really doesn't matter. Look, at the end of the day, it's nice. I want the channel to grow and I want us to be a nice crowd. So obviously I don't want the channel to just die away and disappear. That would be just sad, wouldn't it? And that would just be a failure on my part. So I'm trying to make things good and succeed. Yeah, let's make it nice. Let's make it a good one. Okay, so like and subscribe. Hi, Rob. I've been following the channel. One question, is supply and demand system reliable? Quite. It's a 50-50 game. You know what I mean? Like I just said, sometimes it works. It's like support. It's 8 times, and the 9th time when you take the trade, it falls through. That's why we have the risk management. But yes, supply and demand is as reliable as support and resistance. It's actually a pretty good system, I got to say. But just remember, like I said, with supply and demand, you kind of only get one chance, right? When the price comes back and it takes the money from the demand or the supply level, it takes it and it goes. The second and third time is not reliable. Only that one time. All right. Whereas support and resistance, it can hit as many times as it needs to. All right. Okay. So I hope that works for you guys. When the support and okay, supply and demand, support and resistance, which one do I follow? I try and look for confluence. And if they're close to each other, if the demand is above the support, for example, then I will look at the demand first. And I know that there's a support below it. So what I'll do is I'll take the trade out of the demand above it, but I'll put my stop loss below the support. If I put it below the support, I've got a double whammy, right? So I've got a double chance of winning. In other words, if it breaks through the demand, I'm not dead. I've still got a support below it, right into it. Maybe it's even like crossing over each other, and I can put my stop loss below the support, and I'm kind of double protected there. I've got 2 things going for me here. So if the one doesn't work, maybe the next one will. And if that one doesn't work, wow, bad luck, you know what I mean? Put the risk in place and protect yourself. Okay. So like I said, Elliot, yeah, you enter on the first one, okay? You enter on the one that's first, and then you put your risk below the second one, all right? But you don't have to use both. Like I always say, you can just use the one. I just bring supply and demand into it, because it just gives you that extra bit of information. That's all. You don't have to use it. But it's great to use it. If you learn how to use it and you know how to use it well, it can work pretty well for you. Okay. I hope that helps you guys. I hope it works well for you guys, and it does the thing. Okay. So fantastic stuff. I see a lot of the traders have run away because they are freaked out by what's happened in the markets. I see I'm still on these charts, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go all the way back to the other charts now. I'm going to be on my way in a moment, and I'm going to say bye-bye and thank you for watching, and thank you for being with me. Do come and watch the other videos that I put out as well on the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which I try and help you guys with, and information, what have you. If you guys have got any suggestions on videos that you want or information that you guys are interested in, feel free to either message me, email me, or write a comment. Please write a comment. I'll look at the comments. I read every single comment, and I try and answer them all as well while I still can. And if there's a question that I can put a video together for you on, I will. So if it's something really interesting, if there's something that you guys really want to see and watch, I'll have a look at it and I'll put it together for you, and we'll try and answer your question in a nice video for you. For those of you that are not members, don't forget there's a membership as well for the guys who get Trade of the Day and stuff like that. That's just a sponsorship for the channel, let's say, so that we can make things better. Guys, I want to thank you for watching, and I'm going to head on my way. And the resistance, look, what you do for resistance, just quickly, Ellie, what you do is you draw a trend line, okay? If there's no real resistance, if the resistance is difficult to find, then just take a trend line and just do that, okay? That just gives you an idea of there's resistance there, all right? But the resistance itself, I can see, is actually along here more than anywhere else. So what I would do is I would say the resistance, it's the closest resistance for you is around here at the 340. Okay, that's your closest main resistance. But if you're not sure and there isn't a high or whatever, then you can just draw a trend line in and just see, you know, where's it going to break. If it breaks that, then it's going up. So that as well. But what I can see, there's a resistance running across here on the, I'm just drawing it in lightly, but that's on your, is it on your day chart? It's on your day chart. Okay, there's a big resistance running along here at 350. So it'll probably get up to that level, at least the 300 and then the 350. Guys, I do have to go now. And, you know, Shane, I try to look at the Discord, but I do get messaged when there's, I'll go in and check from time to time. And so if you do send a message there, I will get it. Eventually, I'll get it through the day, okay? But I might not be looking at it all the time, okay? So, cool. Thank you, guys. I'm going to be on my way. I'm going to leave it on that note. And like I always say, do keep your feet on the ground and reach for the sky. That's not my saying. Got it from a radio station a while back in the old days. Really cool guy used to say that. Keep your feet on the ground, reach for the sky, and walk on still waters. I'll see you guys soon. The next live show is obviously on Tuesday again, and the live shows on Tuesday are at 11 o'clock GMT +2. Your time will be completely different to mine, most likely. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. I'll catch you through the window.